Here are 5 things that I do on a monthly basis to help myself to work through any type of triggers or traumas that may show up in my life, of things that I thought that I healed, but they really weren't healed, or when a different perspective of that thing shows up and I go, oh, I need to look at this. Now, many of you may not know, you may know, I am a licensed massage therapist and intuitive counselor, and I also do intuitive art. I have intuitive art events, and sometimes I do a little bit online. But the first thing that I do that always makes me feel better is I find something to paint or create. Creating from a space of anger, rage, frustration, deep wounding, and hurt is something that has been so restorative to me. I did a art project where Spirit had me get 2 pictures of myself and put them on a canvas. I don't know if you can see this very well, but you get the 2 pictures, so each up here, and down here is a picture. And then you write a letter to that version of yourself. So I have a letter here and a letter here. So a letter to this version of myself and a letter to that version of myself. You can kind of see the eyes in here of this one. And then you paint over the picture and the actual words, because it's meant to become a piece of art, but you also want it to be something that includes things that you were forbidden for using. So mine were glitter, if you can tell. So what you'll need is a canvas. That actual canvas is an 11 by 14 canvas. I also have 12 by 12, and sometimes I go bigger. You get two pictures. You put one on one end, another on the lower end, so they're kind of across from each other. Like kind of in X formation. You want to write a letter to yourself on a piece of paper that's about maybe this tall. It's up to you. You can kind of see how they fit, but you want to glue them to the canvas. And then once you've written a letter to that version of yourself, now let's talk about the specifics of the version to the letter to the version of yourselves. The letter is going to basically tell that version of yourself how amazing your life now is, that you've made it, that y'all have been successful, that things have turned out in a different way than you could have ever imagined. And you want to thank that version of yourself for showing up for you the way that the only way they knew how, the way that they could. So after you write the letters, I'm going to tell you now, while you're writing the letters, you're probably going to cry your eyeballs out. But it's necessary because this is a release project. So while you're releasing, okay, it may take you some time, a few minutes or a little while longer to write the letters. You're going to glue them to the canvas as well. And then once you've done that, you're going to paint over it. You're going to find a color that you feel is healing, okay? I chose purple. So you start off and just paint on the paper that is glued to the canvas. And then after that, you can start adding all kind of like symbols and signs and different little shapes and different things. And you can let that layer, if you use acrylic paint, is going to dry pretty fast. You can use watercolor paint. That'll dry pretty fast as well. If you feel like the ends of when you glue your pictures down, you want to glue the edges and some within the middle, so you can make sure you have a nice, good, even foundation or gluing foundation. I actually use my hot glue gun. So what I did was I glued the top edge first. And then I made my lines, and then I went down the sides and I sealed my sides, and then went down across the bottom and sealed that part, and then came on the side and sealed that part. So I had a little method to my madness, only because I wanted to make sure that it was even, it was going to lie down, and I wasn't going to have to worry about the ends coming up. Because as you wet the page with the paint, it may feel like it's going to roll a little bit. So you do want to make sure that the ends are very adhere to the canvas. You don't have to do anything special to prepare your canvas. I didn't, and it stays up there pretty well. I also paint. I waited to paint the sides until after I had put my signs, symbols, shapes, all the things to like frame my pictures, because this is a piece of art that you can actually put on your wall. It becomes a trophy to you, because a lot of time when we are working through things to heal things, we will sit with it, we'll talk about it, we may write about it, but we never have something that is a trophy of us finalizing that healing place, or that healing that we did for ourselves. This actually gives you a piece of art that shows that you have conquered some part of something that once triggered you. It's a reminder that you were healed from that thing, and that you no longer have to face those conditions. Also, that you have triumphed and you are in a better position than you ever have been compared to where you were before. The other thing I do, the second thing that I do, is I do video recordings of myself talking about my day. Some people start off journaling first thing in the morning. I actually have days when I just need to talk to the camera. I need to literally say, this is how I'm feeling today. I'm sure it'll change. And if it doesn't change, I will honor where my body is and how I feel. And I'm going to find rest in some part of my day. If you have to go to work, you may want to take a moment and rest during lunchtime. You may at work not want to have a whole lot of verbal conversation. So you may ask that if somebody makes a request of you, that they email it to you versus actually telling you what they want, or have them write it down and sit it on your desk, and then you will get to it as you can. But you need to honor like where your body is. And I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody. When you work for somebody, if you're not working for your own business, you're working for somebody else's dream. Take your vacation and take your sick days. Stop playing with yourself. Because if you are not here, they will find someone, another hot body to put in the seat that you're sitting in, like it was nothing. Because the work will go on, and you need to take time for yourself. The third thing I do, always, 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 when I need inspiration, I will go and walk around to different things, different places that excite me. If it's food that excites you, I'll go and have dessert somewhere. If it's art that excites you, I'll go to an art store and I just want to see what they have. And I go with with the goal of just gaining inspiration, but I will always buy myself a pen or two or a pencil or two. I will take something out of that experience that I can talk about, write about, make a video about, just so that I can have a timestamp, a mark that says I did this for myself, to bring myself to a deeper place of creativity, of abundance, of prosperity, of joy, of happiness, in some type of way. You can do this with going to the zoo, going to the museum. You can go to the skate park. You can go play paintball. Like, you can go watch other people play soccer. Like, whatever you need that needs to inspire you, go and expose yourself to something that inspires you, or to something new, so that you can experience something in a different way, to shift you to a different timeline, and have different experiences. The fourth thing that I do is I have times when I allow myself to be angry as fuck. Now, I normally don't have people around me, and I always make sure that I'm in a safe space where I can be angry as fuck. And normally if I am that angry, if I'm that frustrated, if I'm overwhelmed, it's normally because anger is showing up as something else, and then I explore what that is. And once I understand what it is, I call it for what it is. I write about it, I video about it, I go take a walk. I do something that is going to put movement into that emotion, so that I can allow myself to take a breath. The emotions you feel are real. You have to acknowledge them, and you have to make them into something that will allow you to be in a happier space, that would allow you to feel more whole. I hope these suggestions help, and I think I'm going to do a part two, because I think I have other suggestions. So, have a great day.